5 top tips for managing anxiety. Number 1. Get to know your anxiety. It's so useful and important to understand what is happening in our bodies when we feel anxious, because it not only helps to validate our experience and normalize what we're going through, but it helps to explain some of the overwhelming symptoms you may experience when you're anxious. We all have a little part in the brain called the amygdala, and one of its main roles is scanning our environment and letting us know when there's a threat or a danger. When it picks up something that it finds threatening, it sends an instant signal down the brain stem into your adrenals, which sit in the back on top of your kidneys. They then release a whole bunch of stress hormones into your body like cortisol, adrenaline, and noradrenaline, and this helps your body prepare for action. Fight, flight, or freeze. You might experience shortness of breath, fast breathing, tunnel vision, dizziness, sweating palms, and upset tummy. All of these things are your body getting ready to keep you safe. This is really helpful when there's a real threat, but these days the things that we pick up and perceive to be threats are things like everyday life stresses, pressure in the work environment, intense social situations, worries in our relationships, lockdowns. All of it sends us into a fight or flight mode. It's useful to know this so you know your body is just trying to do its job in protecting you. We can notice these symptoms and say, okay, thank you, anxiety. I know you're trying to keep me safe. I've got it from here. Tip number 2. Name it to tame it. Research shows that when we name our emotions, we help to calm our amygdala and our limbic system, the emotional center of the brain. Simply saying out loud, I'm noticing anxiety, helps to calm and regulate your brain. Tip number 3. Challenge your unhelpful thoughts. When we feel anxious and worried, we get into all kinds of unhelpful thinking styles like catastrophizing, future predicting, mind reading. When you notice these, ask yourself, am I confusing this thought with a fact? Would I say this to a friend? Am I focusing on things that are outside of my control? Or ruminating on how things should be and not dealing with reality? What's a more helpful way to view this? Tip number 4. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is all about being non-judgmentally aware of your thoughts and your experience in the present moment. It's tuning into your senses and coming back into the here and now, so when you feel anxious or you notice your thoughts are spiraling, just check in and ground yourself. What can I see, hear, feel, smell? Reach out and touch. Feel your feet on the ground and just start to observe and notice your thoughts. Not all thoughts are true. We don't have to follow each one. Our thoughts are a little bit like books in a library. It's up to us which ones we check out. So we can do this through the use of mindfulness. Tip number 5. Last but not least, breathe. When we breathe, it activates our parasympathetic nervous system. This is about rest, digest, and restore. We can use our breath to activate the state of calm. Take deep breaths, directing them down into your abdomen. When we feel anxious and panicky, we tend to overbreathe, and when we overbreathe, we throw out the balance of carbon dioxide and oxygen in the body, and that creates all kinds of symptoms that mimic anxiety and panic. So tuning into your breath and centering yourself and your body through deep belly breaths is a wonderful way to calm down. Lastly, know that anxiety, whilst common and normal, can of course get in the way of everyday living, but also know that there are so many things that you can do to help you overcome it and live a full life.